Hi, it's Miss Saxon, and I'm still working on my new video recording technique where I have the pages of the book behind me. So it's a little bit unusual, but I think it's a good way for you to really see the illustrations. And this book, Last Stop on Market Street, has some really great illustrations. It's kind of a simple style, but I think it's really effective. And there are two reasons I wanted to read this book. I think that it really represents the IB learner profile of caring and having compassion and empathy. As I read this, see the different ways the grandmother shows compassion to people in her community. And I think it's a great story. And also, this month we're focusing on some authors. It's Hispanic Heritage Month, and it's from September 15th to October 15th. And I wanted to focus on some authors of different heritage. Matt de la Pena is the author, and he's a California native, but he has Mexican heritage. And I think that it's a great story. He writes a lot of really interesting books. He also writes young adult books, and he has a lot of books that have a really great perspective. There's he wrote a book called Carmela Full of Dreams, which is a really beautiful book. And so I'm happy to share this book with you, and I hope you enjoy it. Last Stop on Market Street. It's by Matt de la Pena, and the illustrations are by Christian Robinson. So as you can see, the pictures have a really unique style. I'm going to move myself over just a little bit. There we go. CJ pushed through the church doors and skipped down the steps. The outside air smelled like freedom, but it also smelled like rain, which freckled CJ's shirt and dripped down his nose. He ducked under his Nana's umbrella, saying, "How come we gotta wait for the bus and all this wet?" "Trees get thirsty too," his Nana told him. "Don't you see that big one drinking through a straw?" CJ looked for a long time, but he never saw a straw. From the bus stop, he watched the water pool on flower petals, watched rain patter against the windshield of a nearby car. His friend Colby climbed in and gave CJ a wave and drove off with his dad. "Nana, how come we don't got a car?" "Boy, what do we need a car for? We got a bus that breathes fire, and old Mr. Dennis who always has a trick for you." The bus creaked to a stop in front of them, and it sighed and sagged, and the doors swung open. "What's that I see?" Mr. Dennis asked. He pulled a coin from behind CJ's ear and placed it in his palm. Nana laughed her deep laugh and pushed CJ along. They sat right up front. The man was across the way tuning a guitar. The old woman with curlers had butterflies in a jar. Nana gave everyone a great big smile and a good afternoon. She made sure that CJ did the same. The bus lurched forward and stopped. Nana hummed as she knit. "How come we always gotta go here after church?" CJ said. "Miguel and Colby never have to go anywhere." "I feel sorry for those boys," she told him. "They'll never get a chance to meet Bobo or the Sunglass Man. And I hear Trixie got herself a brand new hat." CJ stared out of the window, feeling sorry for himself. He watched cars zip by on either side. He watched a group of boys on the hop curves on bikes. A man climbed aboard with a spotted dog. CJ gave up his seat. "How come that man can't see?" "Boy, what do you know about seeing?" Nana told him. "Some people watch the world with their ears." "That's a fact. Their noses too," the man said, sniffing at the air. "That's a mighty fine perfume you're wearing today, ma'am." Nana squeezed the man's hand and laughed her deep laugh. Two older boys got on next. CJ watched as they moved on by and stood in the back. "Sure wish I had one of those," he said. Nana set down her knitting. "What for? You got the real live thing sitting across from you. Why don't you ask the man if he'll play us a song?" CJ didn't have to. The guitar player was already plucking strings and beginning to sing. "To feel the magic of music," the blind man whispered, "I like to close my eyes." Nana closed hers too, and so did CJ. and the spotted dog. And the darkness, the rhythm lifted CJ out of the bus, out on the busy city. He saw sunset colors swirling over crashing waves, saw a family of hawks slicing through the sky, saw the old woman's butterflies dancing free in the light of the moon. CJ's chest grew full, and he was lost in the sound, and the sound gave him the feeling of magic. The song ended, and CJ opened his eyes. Everyone on the bus clapped, even the boys in the back. Nana glanced at the coin in CJ's palm. CJ dropped it in the man's hat. "Last stop on Market Street," Mr. Dennis called. CJ looked around as he stepped off the bus. Crumbling sidewalks and broken down doors, graffiti tagged windows and boarded up stores. He reached for his Nana's hand. "How come it's so dirty over here?" She smiled and pointed to the sky. "Sometimes when you're surrounded by dirt, CJ, you're a better witness for what's beautiful." CJ saw the perfect rainbow arching over the soup kitchen. He wondered how his Nana always found beautiful where he never even thought to look. He looked all around them again, at the bus rounding the corner out of sight, at the broken street lamps still lit up bright, and at the stray cat shadows moving across the wall. When he spotted the familiar places in the windows, he said, "I'm glad we came." He thought his Nana might laugh, her deep laugh, but she didn't. And she patted him on the head and told him, "Me too, CJ. Now come on." So I hope you enjoyed this story. I think there's a lot of sweet moments in it. And I love how the Nana saw beautiful where he never thought to look. And I hope all of us can do that, to try to find the good in things. Not try to look at what we don't have, but look at what we do have. So thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this book by Matt De La Pena.